Um, yeah, first question. Was that
Right.
question?
What was how did RealCar, um, how was it positioned at the summit? In other words, what other products were kind of surrounding you, and how did you feel like RealCar kind of fit into the mix?
Yes, I actually got that question a lot. Because there's like all the OpenAI changes, also hey man, the OpenAI changes and me- uh, Meta AI changes. For us, like for RealChar, we are a open source project. When I start this project, I want to give everyone a equal access to the technology. So that hasn't been changed. So we will still keep open source, give everyone a opportunity to basically customize your experience with AI. Because all the like large companies, they're not going to do all the fully personalized or customized solution for everyone, but we are positioning ourselves to be the open source platform, open source like projects. So if you want a really customized AI companion experience, you can go on RealChar. And we to be able to do that, we're doing a lot more like collaborations with other open source projects. At the same time, we are trying to integrate with your basically integrate with your existing data source like Quiver. Also, soon we will launch something to integrate with your Gmail, Notion, Slack, Discord, all the platforms you are potentially store your data. So we
Wow.
want to be the AI that's like connect your data source. Um, yeah, because we believe like everyone should have a very personalized AI. Like AGI, what OpenAI does or what Meta does are like one size fits all. But we don't believe that. We think everyone deserves your own customized large language model. But to do that, we need a lot more data about you, knowing you before we can do that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, and that's interesting. Um, so how does that kind of affect your plans for character definition? Like if I want to build a an
Mm.
assistant, right? So how is what you're doing different?
Yeah. So there's how do I put it? So everyone view AI or the AI interaction slightly different, right? So if you take a look at character AI, people go there, talk like they were a lot of non-safe for work content, right? And if you look at their characters, are like female anime character are the dominant characters. I think everyone has a slightly different experience or a slightly different requirements on what AI, how they envision AI. So current AI, so RealChar trying to be less opinionated about who you should talk to, right? So that's why we give you an opportunity to create your own character, and that character can go. Eventually, I think it can go. If you want to talk everything with the AI, you should be able to do that, right? We're not going to limit to that, but we might help you to select what's the best larger model you should use for that particular use case. Then there's also people saying, okay, I just want my character to be um, more helpful, right? It's just like AI assistant. We are not trying to stop you from doing that, but we are going to build tools to help you to be able to achieve that, right? Think about like what I just said. We're going to integrate with your Gmail, Slack, Discord. Um, so once we do that, you can basically create your digital avatar. You're saying, okay, I want this to be like my digital twin, right? It's going to help me to attend meetings, going to help me to answer questions, going to help me to make phone calls, right? That's something like I don't want to like build that for you, you should be the person saying, okay, that's what I want. So Matt, I think you have something to say.
No, I was just gonna say I totally agree with you, but you should be the person to build it.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why like we want to become a more like platform type of so because if really like it's really hard for like RealChar to compete with ChatGPT or like Meta, right? But
Yeah, why
what we
bother?
have is like we have a community, we have people with different ideas. We're less opinionated about even either the GitHub like repo. I said I'm less opinionated about like what things you use, but we're going to help. We were going to host like one version, like we think going to be best suited for your needs, right? Trying to hide all the complexities behind like average users, so you don't need to worry about the technology and everything. But if you are like, you can still do that. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like for how do we position ourselves? We're going to be a platform for your personal AI companion, right? We're going to provide tools to help you to create a really personal experience for you and when you interact with the character or AI assistant, whichever you call it. But we think like AI companions or AI characters or AI assistant is not indefinite. It's not indefinite, right? So it's not like, okay, if I'm going to do like emotion support, I'm going to only do emotion support. Or if I'm going to do productivities, I'm only going to do productivities. I think there should be a middle ground. That's what the RealChar is, right? It should be a middle ground. You can create your AI companions, or you can use our like hosted AI companions if those already suit your needs. So in the future, like you should be able to, like I said, like use your AI companions to attend meetings, right? So it's going to record meetings for you, and once it understand you a little bit better, you will be working with your AI companion in a more collaborative settings, right? So that's why we have a mobile version we just launched, and we are so we just relaunched our web version, and we're also working on a desktop version because we want your AI companion to be with you everywhere.
So do I.
Yeah.
So
Do
wait,
you
Sean, you launched the I missed it. You launched the mobile app?
Yeah, so we relaunched the mobile app. So,
Okay,
but we're
okay, relaunch.
still so it's right now it's just like text based. So if you go to like, so if you search RealChar in iOS App Store, so you should be able to find the mobile app we're like secretly building. We haven't like publicly announced that
Okay.
yet. So in that mobile
It's not
app,
on test flight. Is it on test flight or just the
no,
regular?
not test flight.
Oh,
It's already
okay,
in the
cool.
App Store. So, but
Nice.
we haven't like publicly announced that yet. So you can download that app. Right now, it already allow you to upload your documents to your knowledge base.
Sweet.
So you can
Excellent.
also take photos, take images, upload to your
Wow.
knowledge base. We're already secretly building that. It's just like also like ChatGPT was caught us in surprise. So
Oh, so you didn't know either, huh? You didn't know about it either?
yeah, so I didn't know. So I know they eventually going to do that, but
Right.
they were definitely like faster than I expected.
And they kept that pretty quiet.
Yes, they came out pretty quiet. Um, yeah. So any other questions?
well, what was the impact on RealCar, all of those changes in GPT? How do you position RealCar now in light of those things?
Yes. So I think the impact is like VC gets to ask a lot of that question you just asked me, right? Like,
Right,
okay, now ChatGPT has this like you were building a lot of real-time interactions. Now like OpenAI is doing this, like Meta is AI also doing something similar. So that's exactly what I just told you. Like we want to be less opinionated. And also one
right,
thing we believe they cannot do is like to integrate with all the data you have, right? So the thing is like, it's going to be a lot of labors to make that work. It's going to be really hard. Also, they are training on a AGI. We're also trying to be something more like personalized, fully customized, right? We're going to help you to fine tune your own personal large language model eventually.
right.
Yeah, also like also we give you the opportunity to create your characters, and we're going to help you host that, and you can share that with like your so we're trying to be a more platform approach instead of, okay, we just tell you, okay, this is the product.
Do you see like AI being embedded in the landscape as I travel through my life? I encounter various AIs that are anthropomorphizing or connecting various objects and so forth. And if you do that, how do you see us communicating with these AIs and
Yes.
maybe
So
also be
yeah,
making them ourselves?
yeah. I think in a human life, we generate about terabytes of data, right?
Mm.
That's relatively small compared
Very
to,
small. Yeah.
yeah, that's really small. So we can definitely compress this knowledge into AI. I don't
All of it.
doubt that. Yes, all of them, right? It's just like how good the compression algorithm is, and how good are we going to uncompress those data.
Yeah.
So I do imagine like there will be a potential digital life sometime in the future. It's better we preserve data right now, right? So if in the future you want to recreate yourself, you still have enough data about you.
Can, yeah.
Second, I think um with the larger model, I worked on self-driving car, worked on like Google Assistant before. I think with the larger model, there is a software paradigm shift, right? How we interact with AI should be different than how we interact with AI like last year or 10 years ago. But think about like how we interact with AI after iPhone moment, right? It hasn't been changed so much. But I think there will be a moment change happening. So that's what I build like for RealChar is, okay, I want human and AI has a more like natural interactions, right? You should be able to just talk to your AI. It should be able to understand you. In the future, it should look at you, also understand you, right? That's the things like I think should happen. Also, like another thing I'm afraid is like, if I'm not in tech, right? Within 10 years, there are going to be something new, totally new. I might not be able to understand, but I shouldn't be the person understand everything. My AI should be the AI understand everything. The only thing I need to understand is like how to interact with my AI, right? The only thing my AI should be able to understand is like that AI should be able to say, okay, this is like base background of Sean, right? He only understands software. He doesn't understand anything about like medical, like chemistry,
Anything
anything,
else?
right?
Yeah.
He
Anything
should
else?
tailor that experience to you, so you don't need to understand everything. That AI should take because AI is so good at learning things. AI is so good at like storing information. We have so limited knowledge or limited like brain memory or hardware, right? Like to store information. That shouldn't be our bottleneck, right? We should let human do the things we do best and let AI do the things AI does the best.
Amen, man. Amen. Dude, I last night I got VLLM running, right? And I mean, and I put up a couple of AWQ models, quantized models. Holy smokes, dude, it is so fast. So I only had enough room. The A40, that card I told you, it overheated,
Yeah,
right? So I got the part for it today. So I haven't put it back in yet. And so I've only got, I don't know, about 24 gigs. I'm running about 5 models
yeah,
and just spewing as fast as I can't even read that fast, right? And so it turns out, yeah, I was using the Hugging Face chat UI with the little drop down
yeah,
to switch between them real quick. And
yeah.
there was a bug in my JSON. It wasn't actually switching, but the model was pretending to switch based on the name. How cool is
Right.
that?
Yes.
Based on the model name,
Yep.
acting
So
completely different.
yeah, Matt, let's like sync offline, and I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
keep this like to RealChar, and I
Okay.
love to listen to your story about A40. Okay, cool. So any more questions? If not, I will go through the questions on in the threads. Like I will answer a few questions for that. So first, like in terms of cloud deployment, um, we are talking to the render team about what we're building right now, and trying to figure out like what's the best way to host on their platform. So right now, if you deploy on render, you notice like there's a lot of configurations or if things might not work, we want to build something more like one click to deployment type of experience. So you should be able to like just log in that platform and all the images are pre-built, right? So you just need to say, okay, I want to do this and generate a IP address for you, and you just put your DNS like point to that. So that's something we are actively looking, because the thing was like we were like really focusing on the most recent launch on RealChar. So we hasn't been able to go back to saying that team saying, okay, this is exactly what we want. So we would love to hear from the community, like, okay, for the deployment, what has been a major issue? And yeah, I think one way I can do that is I probably can set up a channel just about deployment and collect all the information about the deployment, then try to send this to like the render team saying, okay, this is the issue we have encountered. Is there a better solution we can offer to the community? Another thing like we could do is, okay, based on our experience, how we deploy on render, we can create like the community said, we can create a video to explain, okay, how do we address those to make it available on render. Yeah, so it's just like I have been swamped with all the things I'm building. So hopefully, give us a little bit of time, and we should be able to have that tutorial video out. Okay. Let me go through the next question. Yes, so I think there was a lot of questions about roadmap, right? So that's also another thing like we are constantly working on. We, for roadmaps, like where should we put the roadmap, right? I know what we're building, and also I know like what are the things we can ask the community to help us. But the two things I'm not sure is like, where should I put a roadmap, and how do people use that? The second is like, does like GitHub issues or GitHub roadmaps, or like people actually read that or actually use that? If so, I can definitely do that. Like put that out there. Anyone get an answer for that? Like if not, I'm definitely going to try like put on GitHub roadmap and GitHub issues that keep it more organized.
We use the Sean. We use the issues, and we've gone back and forth on the GitHub issues. People tend to use them, right? Even if we say on our site and in the product, like here's our download for Redmine or our ticket system, people use the GitHub stuff.
GitHub issues.
Wherever they, yeah.
Yes. Good point.
I would like to see the RealChar character, like the spokesperson, I guess is that what it's going to be? Know the roadmap, know all these things, so I can just query it, or it could use a mind mapping plugin and just generate a map for me if that's what it wants to do. That kind of thing.
Great idea.
Yes, so that's actually, Steve, that's like RealChar character is supposed to be, right?
There you go.
So I created that RealChar character, want to be a really helpful assistant, like ability assist you with like on the platform, when you're using RealChar, and you should be able to talk to it. So we want to like eventually to be embed on your like on the website. So you should be able to like use it along with your whole experience instead of just as a one character. But I'm still experimenting like on, okay, for those knowledges, what actually makes sense. And they're definitely onboardings, and also adding how do you add new characters, those things. Yeah, stay tuned. I think we are like working on that. Okay, I see CH has a question on let me read. Could you please provide some insights into the limiting factors are for you in using a open mic on the interrupt response speakers enabled? I noticed this seem to work with has enabled. Oh, yes. So if you go to, so right now, if you go to our RealChar web, all the open mic, all the like things have been solved. So you don't need actually need to wear a headset anymore, and there's no echo anymore. And it's like in any settings, if you go to your mobile browser, it just works. So that's has been a huge effort like from my team to make it actually work. But to make it actually work, it requires a lot of good understanding of how the WebRTC works, how to cancel the noise, and how to yeah, so it's require a lot of audio like expertise on that particular subject to make it work. And audio is something really weird, because different browsers, different like setups may result in different audio formats and audio formats. Then the audio format has different bytes, different channels, different hertz. There's so many small things. If one of the things doesn't work, your all like whisper is not going to work, right? And also like if their setup is not working, your speaker may not work. So that's why like we spend a tons of time trying to make that work. Yeah, so that's why like for right now, go to RealChar, the main website. In any situation, it should just work, just like magic. Yes. So Steve asked like how can we make a AI group chat? That's a good question. So what we envision, RealChar is right now when you talk to a AI, it's more like a one-to-one setting, right? Like you talk to one AI and one AI responds back to you. We want to have a more like many-to-one setting, right? You can have many humans in one group chat talking to one AI, or one human in one group chat talking to many AI. So that's something we are also like working on right now to have a group chat. But like going back to like what we're thinking is we want to do this in a way that makes sense, right? So Steve, I want to ask you like a follow-up question. You can reply in the chat is, why do you need a group chat, right? Like, does it, what are the scenarios and how that going to solve your, like, are you going to use that for more emotion support or like productivity support? And what are tools you need to make you like coming back to use this recurring? Yeah, so you can respond back as well. I'm like reading the next question. In regards to displaying a real-time waveform audio from the user. Yes, so let me show you something like we just launched yesterday. I have like I said, I was really swamped with everything we're building, so I haven't got the chance, to tell all the groups or all the community how this works. Let me make sure I have the audio shared. So right now, you can do is go to talk, saying hello, hello. Wait, okay, yeah, it's probably not in this yet. So let me go to dev. Oh man. Okay, let me like fix this. So once we already have this in our dev environment.
Hi, my friend. What brings you here today?
This like once you click this should generate a audio wave. If you will be able to see those like on top of it. And once then you can send it.
Hello there.
Yeah, so we are working on that with audio wave, and also with this. This is another thing we are actually actively working on. Is to you can see right now is like all transcripts like when I'm saying is we are also make this a audio wave, so you'll be able to see, okay, this is a audio wave that you're sending, so you're talking. Yeah, so we are definitely improving a lot of things, but it's just like give us a little bit of time on like finally document everything we're thinking it makes sense for the community to use. Yeah, so let me come back. Cool. Does it make sense? One more question. If I want to ask RealChar to create me an image, let's say something, is it possible to add a customer function to have such information? What do you mean? So you mean like text to image, or are you talking about like in the chat when you're talking to like characters? Or okay, yes. So for in the chat, several things like prevents us from doing that. One thing is currently the text to image API is pretty expensive. So like if you use DALL-E 3 right now, it's like I think it's cost you about 0.3, it's about like 30 cents per image. So I don't remember like that's, so if it's pretty expensive in terms of the cost. So we're talking to several companies who are also doing text to image. So but they're much less expensive to be able to do that in the chat. Yes, and also we are adding more functionalities in the chat, like upload your document, upload your like images, link external like sources. So we are doing a bunch of things in the chat. We're going to make that more useful. But the same question for you is, why do you need ask RealChar to create an image for you, right? I want to understand a little bit why you want to do that. So then I can help not just solve your problem, also solve the community problem, saying, okay, this might be the thing we're building. Yeah, also another thing, like I can also share with you before I forget. We are integrated with Twilio, and we already have a working version with Twilio, like talking to AI characters. So soon, we're going to also launch that to tell you, okay, just make this phone call. You should be able to talk to a random characters you like. Yeah, so that's like another thing we're building. Okay, I want the AI to advocate versus interests and consult with humans. Should be able to chat with you so you can negotiate. Yes, so I understand now what it is. So it's more like a productivity focus, right? So that's what I said. Like we want to build a characters that will be able to support both like emotions and productivities. So what you just asked, like specialized like AIs, definitely makes sense. So yeah, so let's see what are the characters you want to bring us to bring into the platform, right? Also, what are the characters you think you can create to help make this platform better? So also like for the community support, community create characters, we are going to release that to everyone very soon. So now in the explore page, there will be a dedicated section for community characters. So there will be more community characters on the platform. Does want to have it tell a story to a child? Yes. So Serge, I think you asked a really good question. We are thinking about a more kind of hands-free experience when it's telling a story, right? Storyteller is, okay, you can just in a open mic setting, right? Ask it to continues, tell you the story, and also picture it when you're telling a story, when it is telling a story. So that's also something we are exploring for that particular use case. The thing that's is really bit challenging is we are not sure how many people are going to use that, right? So we want to build a library or platform support you to create that experience. So then you can tell me like, okay, this is the experience we're building. Those are the things really required to be able to have a really engaging experience, right? For what you're just saying, like storytelling experience, we want to know exactly like, okay, where is the things we need to make it work so you can tell a really good story. Okay, yeah, that's like the multimodality, like everyone is currently building right now, and we're also building that. But if that's multimodality fixed functionalities, it will be a little bit hard for the community to host it in your own machine, right? So that's just like the fact. So yeah, so that's another thing like I'm not so sure about. It's like, okay, if we go into that adding more functionalities on top of the RealChar platform right now, it will going to be limit how many people can actually host it yourself, right? Because it's going to require a lot more. It's going to require your GPUs. It's going to require additional resources. Yeah, so that's another thing. Like, you know, to answer CH question is, we might trying to find a way, you know, for each users, you can just host the front end, right? You don't need to worry about all the backend, all the infrastructure, but we give you an API, right? So you can use that API to utilize all the RealChar's platform capabilities. So you don't need to so you can just focus on your own business use case and branding instead of like you know, hosting everything that's really in common, like your whispers, your text to image and everything. Leave those like hard hosting problems to the RealChar team. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Everything human do is storytelling. Yes, like I'm right now doing right now is like storytelling, right? I'm telling a story like everybody can understand. Okay, it doesn't make sense, right? If there's something you can like fine tune the story, like it makes sense to you. Display the result of a link in iframe. Yes, I think, you know, right now RealChar can be already iframed. If you just want to use this in your platform, you just like have with your own branding, you can do that already right now.
Well, to follow up on that, then, what I'm envisioning is a UX, not so much a UI, right? A user experience. And my user experience is I can talk to something and it will show me things, right? Not just answer my question in text or voice, but show me things. And I don't need for it really to know much about it. I don't need for it to generate it. I don't need any of those things. All I need is for it to find it and show it.
So
And
like
then,
more like a personal search.
yes, it's an in context conversational display of non-text data.
Okay.
Okay. And all
That's
it does is it just retrieves it. It doesn't do anything to it. It doesn't require GPUs and all that. It just finds the link to the YouTube. Maybe if it wants to be fancy, get to the segment I'm most interested in, and then just plays it, you know. And maybe it listens while it's playing, you know, but it doesn't have to, right? It doesn't really have to do that. It really just needs to understand the context of my conversation and why that particular bit of media, that external stuff, fits in the conversation. And that would be enough for it, I would think.
Yeah.
And it's certainly more than enough for me, because I don't necessarily need a whole web page returned. Maybe that's what it is, but really what I'm after is you know, a specific information item.
Yeah.
But I don't even know it exists or where to look for it. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
can't
so
get it myself.
I understand. So basically you are asking like first RealChar will integrate with your like all the data source you have. The second is like within the context, you can ask RealChar to, okay, you want to search this information somewhere, right? Ask it to give you the link to that particular data source.
Well, I can give you a concrete example. I don't know the data sources. That's the problem I need solved. We're talking about a Hawaiian chant, a mele, and I want to hear it. Well, how am I going to do that? There are recordings of it. There are, you know, I can hear somebody singing. If I search it long enough and I dive down, I can find that file. But I don't want to interrupt my conversation and my train of thought and all that kind of stuff. I want my AI to do that for me. Find that, you know, we're talking, and I don't even have to ask it, you know, can you find me a recording? But we're talking about this melee about, let's say, you know, Kahlo or something like that. And in the background, it's like, oh man, I should probably look up some resources about Kahlo, have some images ready, have some things ready, you know. And then if it occurs, if it kind of like seems appropriate in the conversation, say, hey, let me show you this. Or would you like to hear a melee? Would you like to hear this melee? Yeah, I would. There it happens, right? But it isn't really generating anything.
Yes, yeah. That's actually makes sense. I'm also like tell you something we are building like internally is we want this to be more proactive, right? Your research should be more proactive. So if you are in a conversation or you're talking something, you should like listen to those conversations and provide informations as you go, right? In a non-intrusive way. So you should be able to say what like it recommends, but you can then it also give you actions you can take, but it doesn't mean like it's going to interrupt your conversations or like yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, like ChatGPT is putting those suggested links down at the end of conversations,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, something like that. Yes, something like that.
So that's a step in the right direction. It isn't actually what I'm looking for, but it certainly is helpful and a good step. I've used it, right? I don't always click on those links, but once in a while I do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
well, that's pretty good. I didn't have to go looking for it. I wouldn't even have known to ask the question to look for that.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yes. So it will be like so that's also another thing like I'm thinking is like AI should know when you need information instead of you like just have to ask the right question, right? Like that's the prompt engineering, right? So the prompt engineering should be behind like the complexity. You should know what you're asking, try to predict what you're asking instead like you have to asking it like specifically for that thing. Yeah.
Right. I was looking for AI recommendation engines in GitHub. Well, just to
Yes.
see, because it seems like RealChar really is one of the strengths is you're able to integrate external technologies, like you're focused on
Yes. Yes.
that. And
That's like
so it seemed plausible that we might be able to find some recommendation AI out there that could just do it. You just it's API call from a
yes,
developer.
yes, yeah. So that's like that's the goal of RealChar, right? Like we're trying to hide how the complexity is behind this AI companion, this AI character, right? But before we do that, we need to understand like a very specific use case, right? We're going to not just build for one use case; it's going to build for everyone this particular use case. Yeah, CH, I think your what you just said, like rich text message makes sense. We are definitely doing that. The we are also having a PM getting on board on RealChar. We're trying to figure out like, okay, based on all the informations we know about user and how you interact with AI, what data actually makes sense, right? Yeah, so what type of like rich experience makes sense, and also like how much it actually increases the value of like what we're building, right? Because we're not like large companies. We don't have limited or unlimited resource on building everything. Sometimes we have to prioritize on the things like we think the most important for the community. Historical memories before losing context for conversation doesn't. Yes, so this is also the part is right now you can see a lot of conversations are still session based. We do store those in our like conversation, just like ChatGPT. We haven't been able to like expose that, have someone working on that to expose the previous conversation to user yet. And for the long-term memories, it's not about a vector database. It's about like how you process those information into a higher level of knowledge. Just like very famous paper like generative agents, right, by Stanford. So how do you like distill those like knowledges into distill memories into knowledges about the person so it never forgets, right? So some things has to be not just long-term memory, should be permanent memory. Like what's your name, right? And what's your family, who's your family members? Those should be permanent memories. So we're trying to like architect a level thing that can make that happen. Yeah. So in terms of cost, for memories or for like vector database, it costs almost zero. It's like it doesn't matter, right? Like I mentioned, human only generated terabytes of data your whole life, right? So compared to how much a database can store, it's a very small amount of data you're going to ever like store in the database. So it's not about cost. It's more about like, how do you like store, basically index those information somewhere. Also, like, we'll be able to retrieve the information during the context. That's hard. Use what tools? So it's just like how tools like relational database, like vector database, also potential graph database, we're also exploring. And there's a bunch of database you have to work to make it happen. So Quiver, if you know Quiver is this like a generative second brain. So the idea is you can upload all your documents there, then they just store this for you. But I worked on their backend. I know like all the index and the retrieving isn't great. So there are a lot of work need to be done. The good part is they're fully open source. The bad part is like it's going to take some time, to be able to. There's two challenges. One is like the retrieving isn't great, right? Given them context, it may not always retrieve the best result. Second is it's the latency a little bit higher than I expected, right? Thinking about the RealChar, everything is more real-time engaging, right? Everything should happen in at most probably 200 or 300 milliseconds. They cannot achieve that right now, right? Without like doing some things in their backend. So right now we're building something more in-house, personal knowledge base. So that's like going to our mobile app. So that's where you can upload your documents and talk to your documents. So that's something then we have more control of how the data are going to be stored, indexed, and used. And but Quiver is still a pretty good options if you if you already have a bunch of documents in Quiver, right? So it's just like the experience will be a little bit downgraded, but it's still be usable. Yep. So any more questions from other folks in the call, like Hans, TC, or CH? Do you have any more questions? Feel free to submit in the chat.
Actually, just related to the last discussion. So I'm thinking like, what if you just ask the AI to like summarize the conversation, write a like background story for like the user and like make it as part of the prompt? What would that be different from like using vector database and stuff?
Yeah. So thinking about how the human conversation goes, right? It's summarization is a compression algorithm. Everything like even story like a vector is compression algorithm. How good summarization is? Can it actually get all the key points from the summarization from when you summarize it? I highly doubt like you just ask summarize, it's going to do everything for you. I don't think it's going to do that. The really important thing is like in a conversation, abstract a few things like from that conversation. Like I think even potentially fine-tune a data model just for abstract like knowledge from that conversation might be more important. Thinking about like all the conversation we had for the last 15 minutes, not all the information are important to you as a user, right? Maybe important to Steve, maybe important to Matt, may not be important to you, right? Do you want those data to be stored? Maybe not, right? So even memory should be more personalized. So that's how I view it. Yeah, so that's why summarization can solve like smaller percentage of issues. And I know a lot of companies doing that for like create their long-term memory, but I don't think that's the right approach if you really want to build a solid product. Yeah. So Steve, as a non-programmer, what should I focus on? Keep giving us like questions, like you keep using the platform. I think the best thing you can help me build the projects is use the products every day, right? And also tell me if you're not stopping using the product every day, tell me why and how I can make the platform useful to you every day. So that's the goal for RealChar, right? If it's an AI companion, it's supposed to kind of merge into your life, right? It's supposed to find a case that you have a reason to come back and use it every day. If not, tell me why, tell me how, right? So as a non-programmer, I definitely encourage you to do that. Second is like also introduce the RealChar to your friends, to your like relatives who are less technical, right? They're not non-programmers, they're even less technical than you, right? Show them how the RealChar can do for them, right? Show them like what is like, where the future technology is going to be, because RealChar is trying to be really easy for everyone to access. How do you sell this concept to your users, say to your friends, right? I also want to learn that experience.
I'm learning how to talk to people about AI. Yeah, because it's a very nobody really. Well, we just don't have a lot of vocabulary for it. There aren't a lot of memes surrounding it that are useful. So in a social context, you're kind of in this barren landscape, and you have to like stake out these milestones in your conversation as you go. And so I do have a use case that I'm focused on, and it does involve using, basically the community interacting with the AI on a very frequent basis, if not daily, then certainly, several times a week. And so I'm at a point where it's like I've been trying to accumulate data for training, like find out where my training sources would be, talk to the people who would actually use it and get their input, and I've gotten a lot of feedback about that. And it's caused me to kind of like, refocus some of my requirements. So I don't have like a document where I can point out this is what I need and all that kind of stuff, because it's still very much a learning process for me. In terms of, there's no handbook for this. There's no guide I can go to. Yeah. So I just have to like flounder around and try different things, and kind of make a note of the things that work.
Yeah. So Steve, I think like the goal is to let AI learn how you work, right? I want AI not to be like the bottleneck to get more user using it, right? I want this to be super simple to use. So that's why like if you look at the RealChar viewer design, that's exactly what we're trying to do, right? Keep it super simple to use. If you encounter anything that may be hard for you to like promote this or ask people to using it, tell me why, right? Like I won't hear that. Because what inspired me the most is I want one day to just show this to my parents, to my grandparents, saying, okay, go use it, right? So you don't need me like to teach you how to use it. You should be able to just ask it. It should be able to just work seamlessly.
I really need
my mom uses it, by the way.
Oh.
I mean, but
that's great.
She talks to the digital me like all the time because I don't like I can't talk to her all day, but it will actually. So my bill's going to be huge, but I did have to train her a little bit.
Okay. Yes. So that's another thing. Like I want to hear like how you want to use it, right? Like because I know to create a digital you, like how much data do you need, right? Like I said, I want
actually, Sean, not much. It turns out.
Okay.
I found that.
So that makes my RealChar is really good, like to help you to create it yourself.
Yeah, easy, dude. It was easy. I need to do my whole team, right? The entire executive team. That's why you need them all in one place so that I can just, hey, you guys, they meet once a week and watch themselves meet.
Yes. So think about this, like once you integrate with all your data source, you should know what you're working on already, right? So they should be able to, the AI should be able to exchange information on your behalf. So you don't need to be like waste your time like attending meetings.
So today, where we are today, I'm in a position where I have data that I could feed a model. I could point it to things. I have character identities that I know what characters I want to create, at least some of them. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I need to be able to just create the character, and it has to have some expertise. And I've done some of that, like with the
Mhm.
tarot. For those that don't know what I'm working on, I'm trying to anthropomorphize gardens. All right, so your rutabaga can talk to you. All right.
Right.
And the reason for that is to it's not just for fun, although
Right.
I think it would be fun.
Right.
The reason for that is so that there's a shot at communities achieving some level of food security.
Right.
So everybody in their garden has some of these plants that are connected to the AI, not all of them,
Right.
but the ones that are, those are for community use.
Right.
Okay. And then we all know what the inventory is and what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, we can pre-order. So I can plan to have those tomatoes, at a certain date. And I'm doing it at the scale, the neighborhood scale,
Right.
so that I can walk over to that person and get those tomatoes. I don't need a delivery truck. I don't need a warehouse. I don't need a retailer. I
Right.
don't need all those steps in the chain.
Right.
And that's vital because that reduces the cost.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now I can afford that tomato. I mean, they might even give it to me.
Yeah, I think now I'm thinking about this experience more like you want to have a internal Google search, and a character can help you answer those questions.
Yeah, and also kind of like proactively encourage me to like, okay, you should be eating a little better, Steve. Here here's a meal I made up for you based on what's coming up today. You could go over to Tom's and Mary's and get these things, or I'll have them send them to you, and you can have this for dinner. What do you think? So, something like that. Like it's proactive. It's not just about me. It's trying to build a community by building up individuals' health and well-being. And the other thing that I envision it doing is this is all around the garden stuff. Is the food is a reason for people to get together. Like I don't have to like you to buy your tomato, right?
Yep.
I don't, we don't have to have a long-term relationship. It can be just transactional. But in a community setting, that's a start because I'm going to see you again one day. Yeah. And you're going to
Yes.
be the guy that sold me the tomato. So I've made that much progress in our connectivity and our social relationships. It's
Yes.
not a lot, but it's something.
Yes. So
As
I
a,
think I totally understand. Like, Steve, we can definitely follow up more on like the use case. I feel like there's we should have some resource now like to figure out a more like AI companion bot for a community, right? For collecting information within a community, distribute those to potentially enhance like the human to human relationship.
there's a huge need in America. I don't know about other places, but we have all these homeowners associations. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're the banes of everybody's existence. Everybody
Yes.
hates them except the
Yeah.
people who collect the taxes.
Yes.
And so I've watched my community go through situations where the governance model changed,
Right.
and that had a profound effect
Mm.
on the attitude of everybody that lived there and the willingness to participate.
Yep.
When we're forced to use parliamentary procedure, very few people know it. Right? They don't know what they don't know how to run a meeting in parliamentary procedure. And it's very counterintuitive to somebody who just bought a lot. They didn't sign up to be a board member. They're not an IBM executive. They don't know any of this stuff. They just bought a lot in Hawaii.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I definitely
they
hear.
want to live together, but they don't really know how.
Yes.
They're not trained, and there's no infrastructure to support them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Let's follow up on that. Like. let's keep, I see there's 2 more community member joined. So Rohan just had one question about like how do non-technical people help contribute the project. So like I mentioned, there's 2 things, right? One is to keep trying RealChar and tell us like how do we improve this, because we want to make RealChar a community, so everyone should be able to use it and customize it. And we're not a large company, so we're trying to make a platform that's less opinionated about how we solve the problem. So you should be in the driving seat to say, okay, I want my AI character to do this, I want to do that. So that's one thing. Keep doing this. Let us know like where's like, do you want to focus more like emotions part or like from the productivity. Secondly is like also tell folks who you're in your inner circle, right? Try to ask them to use it. Get feedbacks, and because if we try to define a new type of relationship between human and AI, we want to also hear people who are less technical than you to basically observe how they use the technology and how they can potentially use the technology on their daily life. Yes, so in terms of sales marketings, we are right now like focusing mostly on like building. So we haven't and the team is fully technical, and I want to understand like how the sales and marketing can help. So because I'm technical background, I don't even know how the sales and marketing works, right? So yeah, so like that's like I just love technology, right? I want to make this like super useful for everyone. Yes, also like tell me what you can help, right? And how you think like you can help the community and help the RealChar to grow. Yeah.
So
Hey Sean, I just wanted to say real quick, you guys have done a fantastic job, and thanks a ton for what you guys have done. And as soon as you guys are ready, as soon as you open up the character stuff, I've got about 6 or 7 ready to rock and roll. How can I get the voices? We still can't share the voice even through 11 Labs. I've been playing with XTTS, but
Yeah. So yes, I get the voice. So we are also explore. So right now we use 11 Labs a lot, right? But if you look at the recent news about like Spotify AI, right? So they have a solution. We are also exploring solutions with Agora. So it's also another public company who powered Clubhouse. So they also have a solution. And we internally, we also has a small team trying to use like open source models to fine tune a model that makes sense, right? So we have a bunch of efforts like going at the same time to clone voice. So, but right now, the easiest way is still like 11 Labs, right? So we're trying to find a way, when you create a voice, we can allow you to share the voice. So then, but that, like I said, but it's only going to be hosted version, right? Like if you host on our platforms, though that's all the functionality we can provide, right? Because it's going to require a lot of setup and make it work. Yeah, so that's like my answer to you. Like it's just voice is hard.
okay, so like if I'm fine with everyone, hearing Captain Kirk's voice or with mine, and I would pay for it, but I don't even see a way to do that where I just have to give you my key or create an account, right? And you can't do that because you're using your key.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Like, if we going to go the route of more platform approach, right? If we can help you to we can help you to host all the backend, right? You only need to worry about the front end. And in that setup, in our platform setup, we'll give you a dashboard, right? You give us some of the keys you have. Then you don't need to worry about it. So you can only focus on creating characters, give us few keys of your keys, then just share that like front end with anyone, right? Do your own brandings and everything. So then we can behind the platform. So that's also like we're thinking, right? But the thing challenging for me is like we are going to tell people like just you should just ask like what's the business model, right? How do we make money, right? How do we now you are doing like too many things at once, right? What will be a focus? So we're trying to narrow down that story right now, like trying to make the team, because we have a very small team. We're trying to focus on some of the things we think right now are going to create the most value to the team, to the community. And also, yeah, make sense to be a business model. But right now, we're mostly focused on still a consumer-facing model, right? We host everything for you. Potentially in the future, right? If you create probably 5 or 10 characters, we only allow you to create 5, right? So if you want to create additional, then we're going to charge money for that. So those are the things that we are thinking, like, how to potentially make it work.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay, so I'd like to know if you're still like taking new technical members in your team, like.
Yes. So, like I tell everyone, whoever contributes to the project, right? So there is a process like to become a part of like RealChar. So RealChar, we currently have like community contributors who are contribute to the projects directly, and then once you contribute enough, and everyone within the team knows about you, so then we will extend a like full-time or part-time offers to you, right? So there's no technical interviews because we already know how good you are. So we are still actually hiring, and we have had like 1 or 2 successful like people get on board. So those are like the full-time employees in RealChar.
So what are some areas like you might be lacking people so I can work on it? Maybe
yes. So this is the part, like I need to put like roadmap and the tasks, right? I blind myself, like haven't been able to do a really good job managing all the things right now. I want to do a little bit better. So right now, like just what I just told Matt is voice. If you are really ML focused, right? Like voice is definitely one thing. It's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard. Like it's almost impossible, like for us to clone a voice and you get something like text to speech really fast and high quality. It's almost impossible. So another thing we're trying to figure out is like, okay, we definitely need more like people working on front end at the moment. So we are adding. We have also like we are also ready to launch another platform to all the like integrations and backends and everything. So that will be also a hosted solution for anyone to integrate with the platform. Yeah, I think about that platform. That platform for a lot of non-technical users. So the idea, so like I can tell you the idea. So before we make the launch, so the idea is anyone can go to this low-code platform. If you want to automate one of the paths, one of the workflows, you can just use prompts to be able to set up your own workflows. Then your character should be able to quickly know that. Then you could pretty much like thinking about the scenario we always like sell is think about scenario you want to book a restaurant book a restaurant to make a phone call. Instead of you make a phone call, you're going to ask your AI character to make a phone call. What knowledge that AI character needs to use, right? I already give you all the integration, all the knowledge base. What knowledge you need to use, and how do you create that flow actually makes sense? So that will be a low-code platform, and everyone should be able to contribute. And there will be more scenarios like that, and for non-technical users. As for technical users, right now, because we are really focusing on the web development right now, so we are adding more tons of more features on top of that. So we will be like more right now will be more full stack approach. So who are working on the next JS front end, also at the same time to working on the back end. Also, we are also redesigning the back end right now to make it work.
Yeah, so I just wonder if there's like a more technical communication like group you have, because like I was gonna contribute, but
yes.
like the repository stopped updating.
Yes. So that's another thing. Like I think I did a really cool job right now. Like because the RealChar team, the team like who are full-time engineers who are mostly in the Slack channel communicate everything, and the community members are on the like right now on the Discord right now. So we are trying to see like how do we make it actually work. We will have a community only Discord channel, to have conversations about all the technical questions, and already ask all my team who are contributing to the project has to be like in the Discord at the same time. Yeah, so I think we are making the process a little bit clear to how to contribute.
So would you mind if I can join the Slack?
Yeah, so let me look at, I think I saw you had a one PR contribute to the code base, right? Or
yeah, I tried, but like
yeah. So let me take, so let's follow offline on
okay.
the questions.
Okay, yeah, so
yeah,
maybe we can talk about it later, right?
Yeah, let's follow up offline.
Okay.
Steve, are you talking about yes, Steve, yes. That's something we are secretly building. So there's a lot of secrets like happening in RealChar right now. So like we're building a Twitter integration right now. You can call your character, but we are making our character can call someone, and pretty soon. So what do you think about the reasoning? Okay, I already really answer these questions like Rohan. So Meta and OpenAI, I will answer this again. So Meta and OpenAI, they are more like from a big company approach, right? So they are training their AGI, trying to have a one size fits all solution for everyone. But I don't believe that. I think everyone deserves their own AI. Like you should be in the driving seat to control how the AI you want to be used. Do you want to use more emotions part, more productivity? We should be like RealChar shouldn't be like in the way for you to define how you use your AI characters. So we are going to offer a platform so you can customize your AI characters on RealChar platform. And so yeah, so we are also integrated with more of a data source and to do that. Okay. I think we are running out of time. Thank you so much. I will probably just answer one last question. One last question. Okay. So the question have about looking to being able to use Twitter. Yeah. So I think as for the deployment, we are trying to. There's two things we're working on behind the scene. Is one, we are talking to the render team. Render team, the team like the team owners to discuss like how we can offer a very simple deployment. And the second is like we do see a lot of issues right now, and we are going to probably make a video tutorial review to how to deploy on render with our current solution. Yeah, but our goal is to make sure offer the platform really good for everyone. So also like as I mentioned during the call is we want potentially just ask each individual to host your front end instead of the whole infrastructure. Which means like the RealChar will host all the backend things for you, and you don't need to worry about that. So you only need to customize your like brandings on top of in the front end, also your business use case. Cool. Thank you all for attending today's office hour. Like I said, 30 minutes. Now it's like hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, thank you again like for attending this. And if you have more questions, definitely send that in the channel. I will try to make more effort to answer all them questions. Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts too. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about the Twilio integration. That's key for me.